Now I wanted to make this quick video by Flat Earth Man and God We Trust. I'll leave a link to the full video in the comments or description of this video. And I really like this guy. This video, I've seen this material over the years, and it never fails to amaze me how dumb they think we are. They take pictures of these planets, which aren't pictures, they're CGI, then they use the same picture, because you can overlay this to that, and it's the same picture. Topography is exactly the same, and they add in this garbage. And then they do Pluto. Look at this garbage. Look, that's Pluto. They call this the planet Pluto. And magically, the topography on Pluto is in the shape of the Disney dog Pluto. All you got to do is add the ears, the eyes, the nose, and the snout, and you got Pluto. That's how dumb they think everyone is. People have been systematically dumbed down to instantaneously believe these liars. NASA, scumbags. Let me speed ahead a little, because he shows, again, I don't even think they were in low Earth orbit, the scumbags. Not in no rocket. But anyway, let me see if I can get this guy, Neil Armstrong, one of the biggest traitors to humanity, but somehow, before he passes, manages to speak some truth. Listen to what he has to say. He never gave interviews, maybe one or two in his whole life, became a recluse. Now, this was the guy, they say, that was a part of mankind's greatest achievement, landing on the moon, the first individual, and never gave but one or two interviews in his whole life, became a recluse, and this was, I believe, the last public interview he gave.
There are great ideas I've discovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers.
So he says that, and you can go find that yourself. If you can reveal one of truth's protective layers, okay, and this is the blue screen they use to show you stuff floating around on their fake ISS, which I believe is a highly classified, high-altitude drone of some sort. Classified technology that they mocked up to look like the ISS. They can mock up anything. They can make a ship to look like the Starship Enterprise and whiz that by the moon. And people would say, oh my God, Captain Kirk is here. Maybe the movies were based on real material. And they'd believe it. Now here these scumbags are, NASA, at their finest, being busted. What harness? Look, he's grabbing his wire. This guy got caught with a harness floating by. Look at that. He's on a harness, faking like he's floating. This guy disappears. Look at that. That's augmented virtual reality. Microphone through his hand. CGI animation. And this guy thought he gave him the hat. Big augmented virtual reality fail. And these guys, look, they tweak out while everything else is fine. That's augmented virtual reality mess up. Everything else in the room is fine except them, they're scumbags. They're not even all three in the same room. This really gets me. Look at that. He's supposed to be in the vacuum of space. That's supposed to be a hatch door. You can even see the crease in this. It's just disgusting. This is disgusting. Look at that. What would they use that for? What would that be for? To place over this in the vacuum of space? Well, they can get away with it because people don't really know that they say outer space is an infinite and expanding vacuum universe, void of air. Just terrible what they get away with. Completely terrible. Mocking us. They lost all the data. How convenient.
It was all recorded on these telemetry tapes. So where is this hard evidence?
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence.
It's
As I
not
said, even if we
stupid.
had
They
it,
never
we don't
had
have the
it. They
machines
never
to play it
went.
back.
But you
Real technology cannot regress nor be destroyed. Real technology can only progress. People want to go against that. If we went to the moon over 50 years ago, we'd be doing so today 10 times faster, 10 times more efficient. We'd have structures on the moon. You could go to your nearest airport and book a flight to at least go orbit the moon. Family vacation. We have none of this 50 years ago.
Your own research has shown the telemetry data is missing.
That's right.
Yeah,
Could
Or
this be true?
never
Mankind's
was.
first interplanetary exploration and the original science data is missing.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Paper failed to burn because it didn't have any oxygen. So how
Okay, this guy's doing demonstrations. What they call atmosphere or gas and oxygen, the stuff we breathe, burning stuff up, stuff that will combust to prove that an infinite vacuum is a place where they say there's no oxygen. A fly, a bird, they fly, they flap their wings and get lift because of air. Without no air, they cannot fly. Fire cannot burn without oxygen. Okay? You cannot get thrust without oxygen. A plane flies through the air. Without air, it would go straight down. No aerodynamic lift, nothing.
something that has its own oxidizer, such as gunpowder. See, this is a mixture of charcoal, sulfur, and potassium nitrate. When heated, the potassium nitrate gives off oxygen, which is sulfur, and charcoal uses to burn. So I've got a little bit sitting in there. Let's apply the laser goggles, and let's light it off.
So he shines a high-powered laser, probably 200 milliwatt, 300 milliwatt laser, through the window into the vacuum and ignites it because there's air. Then he'll remove the air and see what happens.
First in the atmosphere, and then in the vacuum.
Ignition.
Okay.
No problem.
See, it produced lots of smoke and burned rather quickly.
Now with no air, even though the material has its
Most of
own
the air is now
oxidizer,
gone. Let's see what happens.
it's not going to light up in a vacuum. There's no air, even though that material has its own oxidizer, its own oxygen component. To supply oxygen, it will not ignite. So them showing us rockets with flames, thrust coming out of the fuselage or the rear, it's all fake. Can't have that in a vacuum.
Did not ignite. That's it. The gunpowder does not burn. It burns when the laser's on it, but other than that, no. It doesn't change from one particle to the next. Can't do anything.
Now this guy got a drone in a vacuum. Now when those blades turn, it uses the air for lift. Okay? When the vacuum's on, it ain't going nowhere. That's all it can do. This is their trajectory. Outer space is this way, up. They only do this because right over it is the firmament, the barrier, the material that keeps all the gas and oxygen of the earth in the earth. And per what I believe, the King James Version Bible, beyond the firmament is water. Just like a baby in their mother's womb, they are developed in and around water. water, when a woman's water breaks, ushers in new life. The earth is allegedly 70% water, or its surface. And that tells me right there that if the surface of the earth is 70% water, I know for a demonstrable fact that water in volume always seeks and maintains its level, and said level cannot be perpendicular to anything that is intangible. However, if we are to be honest, we don't know what gravity is itself in any fundamental way. Level is straight, flat, flush, and that's what the surface of water can be demonstrated to do in any cup, pool, bowl, sink, pond, tub. It's always level, flat on its surface. The only thing that can interrupt that is wind that creates waves and currents within the water that create waves. That's the only thing. Water in volume always seeks its level, and when it is level, it maintains that level. These things always blast off with a large ocean nearby. They blast off, they go straight up for a minute, and then they do this heavy parabolic arc and start flying back down and out of view and away and crash into the ocean. Then they switch to CGI animation of a rocket in outer space, and people love it. Scumbags. Pieces of crap. Look at that. It's not going to outer space. Outer space is this way. Up. These people believe up is in every direction. Because of the firmament. Now these guys, an agency or a group of people outside of NASA, they blast off a rocket too that reaches almost 80 miles in altitude. And as the scumbag Newton tells us, an object in motion stays in motion unless an opposing force gets in the way or acts upon it. It'll stay in motion. Okay, so this rocket goes straight up, and it stops, and it appears to get stuck in something. So I believe this rocket is stuck in the firmament. Now people will ask, why didn't it explode? It's because its velocity wasn't that great. You see what I'm saying? The firmament, the beginning of the firmament may be some type of gas that gets more denser and denser as you gain altitude until it finally becomes a solid. That's my opinion. I don't know. I haven't been up there to demonstrate it. I don't know anyone who has. But the way this rocket just stops, it doesn't explode. It appears to have, went through something until it got so thick it got stuck. And then after a while, its density worked its way out, and then it fell back to the earth. Now I do these videos because I can send them to people in my family, and there's more probability that they'll watch them. They see that Elizondo in the description, they know it's me. I use his name because he's one of the biggest fraudster scumballs perpetuating their alien deception. And this is the Flat Earth Man. In God we trust. See, that thing just stopped. So it's stuck in something, the firmament. Now if it was bigger, had a greater speed or velocity, then it would have been destroyed. That's why rockets don't go straight up. This is a small rocket, maybe a 10-foot tall rocket. Now here, like I said before, the Van Allen belts to NASA are code for the firmament. NASA Van Allen probe spot man-made barrier. No, not man-made barrier, you scumbag. It's a barrier. It's made by God, you scumballs. How did Apollo 13 go through all that radiation that NASA themselves admit we must solve these problems before sending humans through this area of space? They're waiting for all the jerks who believe in Apollo 13 or Apollo 11 to die. And in some videos I show you, they're doing building block components to begin exploring the infinite and expanding vacuum of space, universe, solar system. And now I like this part too. I'm not a big fan of David Weiss because sometimes when he gives a rebuttal to someone, he stutters. And sometimes I think it makes the flat earth look stupid. But all in all, he's okay. I don't care for the guy that much, but yeah, he's still a good guy.
Here's our flat Earth with our magnetic center. This is the shoreline that we call Antarctica that surrounds our world. And here's my boat. I put my boat down and immediately...
Now, as you see, that ice wall that Captain Cook sailed around took him 3 years, 60,000 miles, could never find an entrance in. This ice wall is what contains all this water that we see as level. That's why our horizons are called horizon, because they're horizontal. Okay? Now, something in the center of the earth, the north, is very highly magnetic. And if you put a magnet or a compass anywhere around that, it'll always point to the North Pole. That's how you circumnavigate the earth. On their big spinning ball, they just do a figure 8 up and down and claim they circumnavigated the earth, which is ridiculous. Let me back it up real quick.
Here's our flat Earth with our magnetic center. This is the shoreline that we call Antarctica that surrounds our world. And here's my boat. I put my boat down and immediately the compass points north. If I want to circumnavigate, I want to head west or east, but we're going to go west right now. So I'm heading west, and as you see, west keeps turning. So I have to keep going, and this is how, when you go west, you end up going all the way back to where you started from.
And also, when you use a sextant on the real Earth, it provides you a flat, level baseline. Okay? You cannot use a sextant on a giant spinning curved ball. You cannot get an elevation angle from a curved adjacent. You need 90 degrees. See what I'm saying? In this flat Earth, which is how water appears, level in volume. You're the boat here, you whip out your sextant towards the horizon, you got a straight baseline, because your baseline is going to the GP, the geographic position of whatever celestial object you are targeting. And that straight line goes down to the surface of the earth, the water, not the center of the earth, how these liars try to make up an equatorial plane made up. The GP goes to the surface of the earth, as does your baseline goes to that GP mark under your 90-degree celestial object, sun or star. Sextant proves a flat earth.
Same thing for east. I go east. I keep having to turn.
See, he has a magnet in the center to represent the electromagnetic or the magnetic field
Making me turn to go
of
east.
the earth.
If I want to go west. So this would be dead reckoning west. If you watch the compass, I'm no longer going west, I'm going south. Any straight line on the flat earth will eventually become south. And that is how you circumnavigate on the flat earth. Nobody can circumnavigate south, because when you go south, you keep on going.
Yeah, it's funny how they've never done any polar circumnavigation. That would be from the North Pole down to their South Pole and then back up the other side to the North Pole. Never been attempted. And most of us, millions who are turning into billions who know the truth, know why they haven't done that.
North Pole. I'm now going south, even though I'm going in the same straight line.
I'm surprised they didn't recall all P900s after that. And that motorboat is not over the curve of the earth. And this is how gas and oxygen act weather. I don't like saying atmospheric. But it rises and sets up and down. It's a mirage, scumballs. Mind you, the surface is flat, level here. And it'll go to the converging vanishing point. Rely criterion. Distortion. They've hijacked perspective and called it curvature.
The science is the same of that of a lens. Here's a simple example.
The atmosphere really is like acting like a lens.
Atmospheric lensing. And it's all occurring on a flat surface. Oh my God, the heliocentric model is idolatry. Apollo, Orion, Artemis, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, all false gods. I think I'm going to end it here. You get the point, people in my family, whoever watches this video. Thank you, Flat Earth Man. And God we trust, we certainly do. And His Son, Yeshua, Jesus Christ, HaMashiach. That's how fast they want you to believe. The whole system, the solar system, is whizzing through an infinite and expanding vacuum universe. You need a container to make a vacuum. Once that vacuum is contained, it cannot expand. And this was the video that I made, or what it was about. These time-lapse star trails with Polaris at the center. Okay, they used this to say the Earth is spinning when it's really the sky. But they also teach that the Earth is whizzing 66,000 miles this way or that way or this way or whatever way around the sun, simultaneous to the alleged